They dominated all weekend long, and when the time came to rise up, they truly delivered. Mixed Saudi Arabian and Danish Overwatch 2 squad Twisted Minds not only lead the Overwatch Contenders Summer Series group stage for Europe, but they also smash their way through the playoffs as the true upper bracket dominators.
That ability. UV takes down Cloudy early on. I mean, just so much damage to the rest of his team. The Hanzo over the top. Couldn't even use his Shatter. Ant Matrix is now left alone against this Annihilation. Vi gets one. Eventually, Quartz fell, but they have to commit so much to kill him. Overtime takes down, and Twisted Minds will be moving up in this upper bracket. And is now, the likes of SRPeakCheck, drop below into the losers.
Licking their wounds from the bottom half of the bracket, Twisted Minds' greatest challengers were plotting their comeback. Spring Series rivals SRPeakCheck came out swinging against second-place seed Exoblivione in the event's lower bracket finals. On the push map of Esperanza, SRPeakCheck gained nearly 8 meters of ground over their opponents, enough to clear the series' fourth game and send the tournament underdogs to the grand finals for a rematch against Twisted Minds. The Battle of Europe's finest began at Lijiang Tower, where SRPeakCheck, represented in white colouring, were first to stand their ground on the capture point. With the aggressive Doomfist, Tracer and Pharah lineup, it didn't take long for Twisted Minds to wipe their opponents off point and start accumulating percentage. After frequent team wipes, Twisted Minds were able to regain the point in the nick of time. Their opponent sat at 99% to the team in green's 67%, so a strong defensive approach had to be implemented in order to take the first point. With a massive barrage from Quartz, Twisted Minds were able to stall the game out and take the first round. Things went in the opposite direction in the control center as SRPeakCheck locked themselves onto the point. Maywalls created perfect line of sight problems for Twisted Minds, leading into the white team's round victory. The score would be settled for Game 1 in the Lijiang Tower Gardens as hero compositions remained the same. A full team wipe resulted in Twisted Minds taking the first capture, but with the crafty Symmetra portal, it wasn't long before it was contested once more. SRPeakCheck were having trouble finding a way in until they forced their opponents off point in what could have been the dying seconds of the match. Twisted Minds were able to carry the torch to the end and recapture, winning them the first map of the grand final.
Now they're just staggering into the objective. Twisted Minds look to close it out right here and now on Gardens to make sure they secure that map number 1 win. Dala gets staggered as well, and Twisted Minds will take map number 1 in this first of 4.
Europe's finest contenders continued the story into the courtyards of Eichenwald, where Twisted Minds were the first to attack. To the chat's amazement, the favourites were completely overrun. SRPeakCheck may have lost the first point, but they continuously prevented their opponent from pushing the cart further into the map. A great result for the team in white. When on attack, SRPeakCheck claimed the first point in the nick of time after taking out the Twisted Minds tank. With little distance required to travel, SRPeakCheck were able to push the payload under the cover of a previous Symmetra wall and win the fight, evening the grand final score.
Cloudy as well finds Slay, and as long as Ghost is still alive with the beat drop of Dala, SRPeakCheck surely are going to win this one. UB with that, Blizzard is able to find Dala, but unfortunately it resulted in nothing for them. Eventually Quartz comes back for the stall, but SRPeakCheck equalized the series 1-1, Moxie.
It was off to Dorado for map number 3 as SRPeakCheck continued their climb. With Fi making the switch to Cassidy and Dayned to Pharah, SRPeakCheck were able to clear their opponents off cart and control the zone during overtime to secure their first point.
No longer has a place to go into the
In a second breathtaking overtime, SRPeakCheck managed to wipe Twisted Minds for their second point. A Symmetra wall helped them move the payload, while the team focused down the opposing tank player once again.
They've done what they needed to.
After 5 popped off to secure 3 eliminations, the rest of the SRPeakCheck army stood their ground and ended their attacking round in glory.
Shift into getting into the sky.
Twisted Minds were faced with a monumental task. After guiding their payload to the first point, it narrowly made it to the second. A devastating shatter threw everything out of whack as the team in green made their final push.
No ultimates for Twisted Minds now. SRPeakCheck looking to close out on the champions in map number 2, the map that Twisted Minds wanted. And SRPeakCheck take it handedly. Dorado goes in their favor. Now they're up 2-1 in this series.
I knew we'd be talking about
The contenders from the lower bracket sent a message out to their European rivals that they were here to take the grand finals by any means necessary.
capacity that you have to defend Matrix. And you got
The Overwatch Contenders Summer Series European finalists took a moment to collect themselves before entering Colosseo, the first push map of the finals.
Control of Twisted Minds after
Control of the robot was the name of the game. SRPeakCheck were able to make 45 meters with the bot early before the team in green wiped them off point.
time. Not only does KSA have more stuff,
is just so evasive.
Passing the 3-minute mark, Twisted Minds pushed an additional 20 meters over their opponents after a well-placed May Blizzard. The tank and a healer fell early in the scuffle.
will be able to come in with the shatter to the
In the final 30 seconds, Twisted Minds had a mere 7-meter lead. Even with a well-timed shatter from Cloudy, Quartz's kill onto Ghost prevented a lot of healing for the team in white.
Dala does find KSA. Quartz, though, still able to get onto Cloudy via that low ground, and then onto Dala, and in overtime, Twisted Minds will win.
Twisted Minds tied the scores.
we were gonna get out of all of
The
these
Antarctic Peninsula was the next stop, and as fate would have it, SRPeakCheck completely laid down the hammer to secure the map's first round. An easy 100% to Twisted Minds 0.
Kelly's able to find Ghost. Dala, though.
The team in green's first real impact was in the second round, when they finally put some percentage to their name. Quartz once again proved how valuable he was to his team. With nothing but a Symmetra wall to cut through the map, Twisted Minds were able to break down SRPeakCheck and force them off point. Losing a healer early cost the white team the round.
Quartz coming in.
SRPeakCheck's point control was short-lived in the third round when both of their healers found early graves. Their tank was next to go, leaving the point and Game 5 open for the taking.
Halfway through, the May's going to be able to touch. Dala's going to come through on the outside. Waits their time. Fi goes down. The Lucio's going to be able to touch Shirley from Dala's side. No, he's going to get booped away. Nobody else can touch. And Twisted Minds are now up in the series, 3-2.
The online competition took another turn at Circuit Royal, where neither side showed signs of fatigue. Twisted Minds were the first to flex. They carried the cart through to a 3-point win with 1 minute 17 left on the clock. SRPeakCheck, however, had a massive 4 minutes under their belt in the last stretch. They wiped on their first attempt, but with so much time to reset and go again, they obliterated Twisted Minds to even the score. With much less time left on the clock compared to SRPeakCheck, Twisted Minds were able to pass the payload through the first point in overtime, but ultimately lost out up the hill moments later. In a similar position to their Overwatch counterparts on attack, SRPeakCheck were moments away from making their final score. With the tank and a DPS down, Dayned stepped up.
Eventually able to find him. KSA on the front line. Dana's gonna have to go huge. He finds 2 in this fight. Then looks to Quartz. He makes that 3. Slay goes to a touch, but he gets beamed down. And SRPeakCheck extend the series to map number 7.
Hearts were pounding as the teams lined up for the push map of Esperanza for the final showdown of the Summer Series. Twisted Minds were the first to take control only seconds in.
That's okay.
At just 50 meters, SRPeakCheck removed them from the point with 3 ultimate abilities still up their sleeve.
Actually getting full team also coming through.
Their push lasted 50 meters. Approaching the halfway mark, the team in white narrowly took back control, adamant that this grand final series was theirs.
Yeah, it did mean, however, that Twisted Minds were
There's a SRPeakCheck hit by it.
After all 5 members of SRPeakCheck were hit by Junker Queen's Rampage, they dropped in seconds. This was the beginning of the end for the lower bracket contenders.
Twisted Minds down.
Ticks down. Yubi finds the pick.
UB's early pick on Ghost put SRPeakCheck at a healing disadvantage. With their tank following soon after, the remaining members held on to what was an impossible task of securing the robot.
Also finds Fi in overtime. They still have the wall ready to go. Danny just wants to back off in overtime. But do they get the spawns in time? 7 meters to go. This is about to push in.
Oh no, that shadow was used. They're going to be able to see Dad as well. And as a result, Ghost gets knocked away. Twisted Minds take it.
In all their glory, Twisted Minds became the best Overwatch Contenders team in Europe over the course of the summer series, earning the lion's share of a $75,000 prize pool.
Thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button to keep up to date with the amazing esport content from around the gaming globe. Only on Unbeaten Esports.